increase the distribution of the vaccines.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm still getting comments that there is an echo that is going on. So let me try and perhaps speak a bit louder and hope that that will help colleagues to hear what we are saying.
I think when you are very clear now, the echo has died some, but let's see how it goes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very well. All right. Thank you. We have follow-up questions, and the first follow-up is from Judith Akolo, who is with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And she says there are fears that more and more virulent COVID-19 variants will come up this year. What can humanity do to help prevent the development of more variants? Then she has a second question, and she says, is Dr. Nkenga Song and Africa CDC optimistic that COVID-19 will come to an end, or are we in it for the long haul? Two questions there from Judith.
Well, thank you, Judith. Always very important questions from you. I think there's, so let us step back and understand how variants emerge. I think variants will emerge if the virus continues to circulate, period. That is what viruses do, especially this type of viruses, the so-called the RNA viruses. They have to mutate to survive. So the only way to stop them from mutating is to stop them from being transmitted. I think that is what we know. It's common knowledge. It's not unique for the Omicron. For the COVID-19 viruses. Do we expect that other variants will emerge? Absolutely, yes. I think I have always said on this platform when we're dealing with the Delta that we expect to see the emergence of other variants. What do we do to stop the emergence of variants? Only two things. One is to make sure that we implement public health measures. All variants are susceptible to all the public health measures that we use. The masking, the washing of hands, the distancing as much as possible. We deny the opportunity for the virus to spread, there will be no variant. Second is vaccinate. We have to vaccinate and vaccinate at speed and at scale, especially the immunosuppressed population on the continent. This I'm thinking of predominantly the HIV population, people that are on receiving the antiretroviral treatment, that is treatment against HIV/AIDS. We have to make sure that they receive treatment in a timely manner. Also make sure that they suppress their HIV viral load. And that way, their immune system is ready to fight Omicron. We know from data in South Africa that some individuals with HIV take a very long time to clean up the virus. And if you take that time to clean the virus mutate and escape. And then, of course, will lead to the emergence of more variants. So, are we heading towards endemicity of this virus, which means that we'll live with it for the long time? Now, my fear is that we may actually be heading in that direction, given the slow pace at which vaccines are being administered on the continent. So unless and until by the end of this year, the continent actually scale up its vaccination to above 70 or 80%, my worry is that we might actually be at the end of this year into a scenario where COVID becomes endemic. So that is we truly hope we do not get there by increasing the uptake of vaccines on the continent. But if we do not do that, there's no doubt that we are heading in that direction.
All right. Thank you, John. We have another follow-up question, and this one is from Ralph Kruger, who is with the German press agency. And he says, given the fact that only 10% of the population in Africa is fully vaccinated, what will this number be by the end of the year?
Well, we go by the targets that were set up by the WHO. We hope that we can achieve a 70% target by the end of the year. 70% immunization target by the end of the year. That is a tall order given where we are, but we have to do that. We don't have the luxury of not getting to at least 70% by the end of the year. Otherwise, the consequences are those that I just outlined earlier. A scenario where we'll live with COVID on the continent as an endemic disease similar to HIV, HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria. Remember, HIV/AIDS is still a pandemic. And if we allow this other pandemic to get hold, then we'll be dealing with two pandemics on the continent at the same time, which will be extremely challenging for all of us.
All right. Thank you very, very much. We don't have any more questions that are coming through. I still see that Janice's hand is up. Janice, if you have another question, please send it through the Q&A section so that we could put it forward to Dr. John. We really don't have any more questions that are coming up. So I think it is time for us to ask Dr. John to give us a summary of the main points from today's briefing.
No, thank you, Wayne. I think let us enter 2022 with a recognition that we might be tired of this pandemic, rightfully so, but the virus is not tired. So let's not let down our guards in 2022. We are all exhausted from this pandemic. We just came out from a holiday season and we saw how disruptive it is. Omicron is raging, it's not over. Many young people are being infected now. And I think it tells you that we truly have to be humble to say that we don't know a lot about the trajectory of these variants, where they are heading to, and how they will, how the clinical picture will look like. So again, as we start the year, my advice to the continent is, please do not relent, do not be complacent, do not be tired. The virus is not going to be tired because we are tired. And lastly, 2022 will be marked by, in our fight against COVID, by three different strategies. One is expanded testing. Second will be expanded vaccination. And third, there will be ability to acquire treatment, like the Paxlovid, the new drug that has been identified by Pfizer to be very effective in the tune of 89% in treating HIV, in treating COVID and infected patients. So I think watch out for those three priority areas as we roll out our efforts in 2022. I just want to thank you all again for your usual cooperation and call for even a greater cooperation as we scale up vaccination on the continent in 2022.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Nkengasong, the Director of the Africa CDC. Let me just give information to our colleague Mario, who was asking about the talking points. Mario, if you are looking at the chat, it does say that these messages will be posted on the Africa CDC website. So please do consult the Africa CDC website for the talking points from today. Thank you so much, colleagues, for having joined us. Dr. John, I took away, if I was still writing, if I was still in the media, I could see myself writing a headline referring to that point that you mentioned about we might be tired, but the vaccine, the virus is not tired. That's a very strong point, I think, to lead us out of our press briefing for today. So thank you very much to you, Dr. John. Thank you to colleagues from the African Union and from the Africa CDC. And also thank you so much to you colleagues from the media for having joined us as we start a brand new 2022. We will be back with you again next week on Thursday at the same time. So let us meet then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.